Roxy. No. Lay down. All right, welcome to Real Men Wear Kilts TV. I'm Patrick Joy. I'm glad to have you here. So, just going to make a couple quick notes. Check out Alpha Nerds Guild. Awesome organization. I benefit from them. Anyone can join their group on Facebook. You can find them on Facebook. You can find them on alphanerdsguild.com. They do a lot of work to help veterans, first responders, law enforcement officers, members of the military, former law enforcement officers, former veterans. Great organization. Also check out Shell Shock CBD for all your CBD needs. Use code Patrick at 10% off. Shell Shock CBD, I'm telling you folks, it's one of the best products on the market. I can't say enough good things about them. I use their products myself. I wouldn't recommend them if I didn't use them myself. Anyways, want to make a couple quick notes here. My dog's got gas. Ooh, Roxy, go that way. Go that way. Ooh. Ow, that stinks. Anyways. Ow. Thought that might have stopped when I changed them to a little bit better dog food, but oh. Anyways, check out Shell Shock CBD. Use code Patrick for 10% off. I mean, they got all kinds of different products. They got products for dogs. They got products for, I don't use any on my dogs right now. But, check them out. Decided to, be promoting them. Wouldn't promote them if they didn't, if the products didn't work. I hadn't tried them myself. Anyways, want to just make a couple quick notes on some of the stuff that's going on in the news. What happened to George Floyd, it was a terrible, terrible thing, and the officers involved with that were very much clearly in the wrong. However, I want to draw attention to the situation down in Atlanta. There is an officer down there who, him and another officer were involved with a confrontation with another black gentleman. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Richard something. Anyways, you can go on YouTube, you can actually find the body cam footage, the full footage that shows you everything that happened. And here's the following facts of the matter. It started out as a rather pleasant, encounter between him and the officer. He's fallen asleep in the parking lot of a fast food. He'd fallen asleep behind the wheel of his car in the drive-through lane of a fast food joint. I can't remember what kind of. I want to say it was Wendy's, but I can't remember. But anyways, he fell asleep. Somebody called it in. Officer came up, woke him up, asked him to pull over into a parking spot. And Richard there, the suspect, he cooperated. He pulled over into the parking spot, and they had a rather pleasant conversation. He submitted the field sobriety test, once the other officer showed up. And they determined that he did indeed, he had indeed had too much to drink to be driving. You know, this happens, you know, I mean, you know, smart people, they would, you know, get a designated driver or call a cab or call someone for a ride. But Richard decided, you know, the suspect decided he was going to drive. But he was in the wrong. Now, everything was cool until the officers attempted to handcuff him. At which point he became, you know, he tried to, you know, here's the thing. If he hadn't done what he started to do once they started to arrest him, there's a chance he would have went home that night. I mean, to be honest, there's a chance he would have went home that night. You know, they probably would have booked him, let him out on personal recognizance bail, and, you know, had someone pick him up. You know, I'm just saying, like, that's probably what would have happened. But anyways, he instead decided, you know, and hell, he might not even gotten charged for that matter. But here's the thing. You know, sometimes, not very often, but sometimes a cop might go, you know, this guy's got enough on his plate, he was really nice with me, I'm gonna, you know, forget to file the paperwork for the charges, or whatever. That happens from time to time. You know, so anyways, the point is, the suspect, you know, Richard, decided he was going to try to resist and fight it and whatnot. Got into a physical confrontation with the officers. One of the officers multiple times said, "Stop resisting or I'm going to have to tase you." Well, one thing led to another, and Richard the suspect took the officer's taser. Now, under Georgia law, where this happened in Atlanta, right, a taser is considered a deadly weapon. Okay, it is considered a deadly weapon. Especially in the hands of someone who isn't trained. Now, somehow he managed to get the taser away, get the upper hand, and start takeoff running. Now, at this point, the smartest thing he could have done is thrown that taser away. He didn't. He kept running. And then he partially turned around. You can see this in the video. Look up the video. There's a video of this. Okay? Shows everything that happened. Alright? He partially turns around and goes, and you can see the taser go off in the video as he's like turning around like this while running. And he tries to tase one of the cops. At which point, one of the cops opened fire with a firearm. You know, that's what happened. And here's the thing, I think, based on Georgia law and based on what I know of stun guns and tasers, you know, I believe that the officer was fully right, you know, to use lethal force because he was having potentially lethal force used upon him. You know, it sucks that the man died. It really does. I mean, it's terrible when somebody dies like that. But to charge this police officer with murder and have him potentially face the death penalty and completely ruin his career. Let's face it, he completely ruined his career. Without a proper full investigation is wrong. Now there's something about, you know, the officer might have kicked Richard, but the picture was taken from a long ways away and it's hard to tell whether or not the officer was kicking Richard or maybe he was kicking the taser away because he wasn't sure if Richard was alive or dead or still, or, you know, playing possum, you know. Not to mention there's evidence that maybe the officer was suffering from a concussion. I mean, there's multiple, you know, things, you know, that we don't know for sure as far as that goes. What we do know is that the suspect Richard, used potentially lethal force against the officers, and the officers responded in kind. You know, I think it was justified. I think that, you know, based on watching the video and everything, I think there was a poor decision made by Richard, and it resulted, unfortunately, in the loss of his own life. You know, I don't know what, you know, he was thinking, but, you know, now we got more protests over yet another officer shooting, you know, killing of a black person. But the difference between the case with Richard in Atlanta and the case with George Floyd is there's a huge difference. One was justified. The one down in Atlanta was justified. You know, with Richard, that was justified. George Floyd's murder was not justified, and you know, in the case of George Floyd, the officers went too far. In the case of Richard forced the officer's hand. That's just the fact of the matter. You know, we still got the nation of Chop in Seattle, and now it's Chop, it's not Shaz anymore. You know, which is just, I don't know, it's ridiculous, folks. That's all I'm going to say as far as that goes. But, you know, we got these situations going on around the country. We got all these protests, and some of them are turning violent, some of them are very peaceful. The ones that are peaceful, great. The ones that are violent, not so great. You know, I'm getting sick and tired of, you know, the left, you know, especially the leftist media, and some of the stuff they're pulling with, you know, they're praising these protests, you know, against cops, and, you know, they're calling for defunding the police and all this other stuff. But anyways, they're praising the protests with the cops, but at the same time, they are, at the very same time, let me check something here, make sure. At the same time, they are, you know, Trump wants to have a rally. And they, oh no, that's bad, we still got this virus going on. You're okay with all these people protesting en masse? You know, seems a little biased. It sounds like the Trump rally is going to actually be, you know, a little more, you know, there's more precautions being taken in these protests. And yes, some of the people in these protests are wearing masks, some aren't. At the Trump rally, you know, it sounds like they're going to basically have everybody wear a mask, and if you don't have one, they'll provide you one. You know, which is a good thing. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong, I think, you know, a piece of cloth really isn't going to do you any damn good. But that's just my, you know, over your face isn't going to do you any good, but that's just my opinion. But what I'm saying is, at least with the Trump rally, they're saying, hey, we want you to come, but, you know, we also want you to do this. Which is, you know, it still leaves it up to you. You wear the mask, you go into the rally. If you don't want to wear the mask, you don't get in, you know. But it's up to you, you know. And that's the thing, you know. The peaceful protests, you know, I'm okay with the peaceful protests. The rioting, looting, the forming of another, you know, supposed another country. Nah, I can't go along with that. You know, it's just one of those things where there's so much bias in the media, and it pisses me off. You know, I'm getting sick and tired of this coronavirus crap too, because quite frankly, it's not doing well either. And if we don't get our heads out our asses, as pardon the language, but if we don't get our heads out the asses, out our asses, you know, we're heading for another civil war the way things are going. We need to get our heads out our asses. We need to get the country back up. We need to get people back to work. You know, I mean, that's what we really need to do. You know, people have been cooped up so long that now they're doing stupid crap. You know, and that's exactly what it is. It's stupid crap, you know. A lot of this stuff, you know, especially the rioting, the looting, the forming of the you know, supposed other country. You know, I mean, it's fucking retarded. By the way, a quick note. Shell Shock CBD and Alpha Nerds Guild, you know, any thoughts and, you know, opinions that I express on here, you know, thoughts, opinions, statements I make, does not necessarily reflect that of Shell Shock CBD or Alpha Nerds Guild. They're completely my own, you know, and I want to make that very clear. But anyways, like, going back to what we were talking about, you know, I look at what's going on, and, you know, you got officers being killed, you got officers being injured. Hang on. You know, you got all this stupid shit going on. You know. Hold on a second, folks. Ah, crap, the internet went out midstream.